Welcome, welcome. My name is Timothy Halloran. I am an evolutionary astrologer, and in these videos, we make plain what is the nature of these times. We are evolving as individuals in highly unique ways. We are evolving as a species and as a collective. And that is the name of the game entering into February. The moon's north node is in Neptune sign of Pisces and conjoins Neptune Friday, February 7th at 1:11 a.m. This particular astrological transit says that now, if any, would be the time to tune into the collective. That is the ocean of the collective consciousness. And I'm going to kick off this video diving straight into the collective. And I am also offering a Q&A at Rasalila Community, so be sure to check out my website. There's a lot I put out to help and support souls through these times, which are not easy. This is one of the most challenging videos I've had to do in quite a while because I started to talk about it in the last video, what's going on with this transit, what's going on with this time, and it is a high point of creative block, especially for my creatives, my compassionate, charitable, spiritual-oriented souls. As we are becoming more increasingly aware of the collective, it's not easy to know what to do right now. This is more about a continued digestion of where we've been up until now, the environmental factors that are still affecting us up until Mars stationing direct at the end of this month. So Mars is now stationing to a slow, isn't barely going to move just a couple degrees the next couple of months, and will station at 17 degrees Cancer on February 24th. So this brings up this collective theme, Mars in Cancer. How do we need to go through this profound adjustment to get to actual safety, which is emotional security, emotional intelligence, to feel safely held the way we ideally should by our families? But I think it's actually quite rare that we receive this feeling of being held, seen, or understood by our family of origin or our own nuclear mother, biological family, etc. So this North Node Neptune conjoinment is bringing up the collective, and guess what? The collective is not this woo, walking on water, unicorns, and again, I know what all the New Agers are talking about when things turn real. The collective consciousness is not like that. People who are going off into the sparkles and rainbows are actually avoiding the collective reality at this particular time, which is exceptionally dark, exceptionally manipulative, exceptionally unconscious, exceptionally in denial. That is where we find ourselves in time. I can almost easily divide our whole species right now. Those who are avoiding and pretending that this is all going to be fine and easy are the people who allowed for World War II Nazi Germany to take place through passivity, through copping out, and through avoidance. Whereas those who are experiencing discomfort right now, good for you. It means you have a soul, you're awake, and you're alive. And you've heard me preach for over a decade against the New Age movement because the New Age movement is not inherently spiritual, whereas what I teach is evolutionary astrology, the goal of which is to support every person in their life. I've dedicated the last dozen years every day going as deep as I can with souls to change their lives in a single one-on-one meeting. Okay, so I have been stumped. How do I address this collective darkness? What should I put out in these videos? What should I even say to address these times? And while I've been observing and processing this collective darkness, including my extremely traumatic recent lifetimes that recreated my childhood that I've lived up until now, I am also experiencing personal attacks from dark forces. And it's not funny, and it's not cool. And it's extremely deranged where it's coming from. Extremely deranged that the people I would pour out my love to end up becoming adversarial, almost like my family of origin, as I realize the truth of the day and age and the world in which we were born into. Many of you have heard my Chiron material, and Chiron being such a profound placement in any chart, in any moment in time, it's because Chiron reveals this Christ-like reality that we can give what we were not provided. And where we are broken is where the light enters. I have a very highlighted Chiron in my own natal chart in Cancer, ruled by a moon square the nodes, that speaks to this lack of safety, to be really seen for who I am. And I spend my life validating others by seeing them to a greater depth to which they've ever been seen in their entire life, using this healing ray of evolutionary astrology. This is not the same as New Age skip and jump into a fluffy, disassociative, eternal vacation. And even those who choose to favor the popularity contest, you have to choose at a certain point, popularity contest or actually helping souls on this planet at this time. So while I've been processing this collective darkness, while I've been receiving personal attacks from people at home, cyber attacking me, trying to take down my websites and my livelihood, I've also got someone on my online community posting to the Q&A forum saying because I did not respond to them within 24 hours, I am somehow unprofessional. And then this person spammed all over my community website about how unprofessional I am while I'm dealing with very real attacks from darkness in my day-to-day life, even while I continue to offer birth chart readings, changing people's lives every single day. The stark amount of injustice, the stark amount of darkness being reflected back from my species to me alone at this particular time is very telling. And I do not believe I'm the only person in this boat alone. So I'm going to make this very, very clear. As Jupiter is stationing direct at 11 degrees Gemini, hey, right on my Mercury in the last 24 hours, guess what? I'm overwhelmed with awareness. I'm overwhelmed with clarity. So let's make this clear. Those who go in to the soul, to their emotions, to their felt lived experience are bringing in healing. The most missing needed medicine on the planet at this time is the zodiac sign of Cancer, which Mars is stationing direct in. Mars just squared Chiron yesterday. Ouch. Ouch. This hurts. Reactions, not feeling safe. We have to make fundamental adjustments. Just as I am uncomfortably and not wanting to admit my nuclear family really doesn't provide what a family is supposed to provide, I don't think that's very uncommon for most of us on the planet at this time. That brings up the question, therefore, where is true family? Where is true soul tribe? Where do we feel seen? Where do we not have to fight to be understood? Where do we not have to fight to have our story be heard? Because there's people who operate through purely manipulation as opposed to honest communication of emotions or needs. And what I have discovered at this point in my life is that is the status quo. That is the default. That is the majority. Therefore, whether you be atheist, whether you be New Age, whether you be spiritual, if you go into any group thought, if you hand over the steering wheel of your own critical thinking to any hive mind, or group thought, the default is Antichrist. The default is whatever that group's posing on the surface, it's actually the antithesis of, in essence. While this highly manipulative population attempts to forcibly create something unnaturally by lying to ourselves. Jupiter's station in Gemini is about understanding the reality of circumstance. It's not what it looks like on the surface. I've given the example before of how there's this silly standard of have a turban and a beard and be smiling all the time as if that were a sign of spiritual graduation. That is the Antichrist. It is actually misleading us away from spirituality. Authentic spirituality is more what we see on every single crucifix hanging in so many rooms and so many buildings all over the world, and that being, Christ, is still being crucified. His name is still being used in vain. There are more antichrists parading as Christly figures than Christly figures. That's the world in which we live. That is the default that any hive mind will turn back into. Therefore, I give this warning not only to my fellow evolutionary astrologers, but everybody. The choice is sell out or be authentic. The choice is sell out and conform to that Antichrist default, or do something new and different for the few and far between. Safety, therefore, is not going to be amongst the masses at this time. And this Mars stationing in Cancer could therefore very much be a process of elimination. Who's actually safe and who's actually not safe? And you know what safety is to me? It's not only having a smile on and forcing, I'm happy, I'm stable, can't everybody see that? Holy shit, stay the fuck away from that malignant narcissism. Safety is the ability to express your full spectrum emotions and being understood and appreciated for who you are. Safety is the opposite of this so-called professionalism that I've actually been fighting for over a dozen years, which is why anyone getting on my website trying to spark a debate with me and criticize me for a lack of professionalism is actually just going against the grain of what safety, security, and everything I've endeavored my life to provide is about. It's about honoring the fact that the world doesn't revolve around you. And other people are having different experiences than yourself. Could you imagine that? Well, white slave owners couldn't imagine that when they were owning slaves. The United States of America seems to have a hard time imagining that while it's declaring war on other countries and the entire population here is behaving totally apathetic, which, by the way, this goes out globally. This is not how all Americans are. But America's in a very, very dark place, and it's a very dangerous place to be in. In fact, the whole world's a dangerous place to be because this country actually unconsciously, or rather beneath the surface, runs the world. So what we're going to talk about here is this process of elimination to get back to ourselves to begin with. We may not know what to do right now. This is a challenging video to put out here at this time. We need to digest and process and honor this inner child, and go through this reparenting process, which I'm letting you know I can give to you because of the lack I have received of this throughout my life, which made me an excellent parent of my own self to the point of being able to provide counseling and therapy to others. So the way this reparenting process sounds inwardly is our inner mom or dad communing with our inner child so to create an inner system of self-support. And the way this sounds is inner mother saying to inner child, I don't care whether you're crying and you won't stop. I don't care whether you're angry and you're shaking your fists at God. I don't care whether you're so excited you're bouncing off the walls and you won't settle down. I don't care if you seem like you're a little bit frazzled right now and feel a little unprofessional or a little bit crazy or not looking like a fucking Hollywood model. That's okay. No matter what you're feeling in the moment that you feel it, you will always be my child. I will always be your mother. So come here. I embrace you as you are. That's how we create a new system of internal safety via our own reparenting. We get to protect and stand up for ourselves right now. Bottom line, I guarantee it. If you're on the right team, you're having to stand up for yourself right now. Otherwise, you're selling out and you're selling your soul to go down with the sinking ship of hive mind group thought. That really is how straightforward it is right now. And while we're doing this reparenting process, especially February into the start of March, while that inner mother is communing with that inner child, those particular feelings being informed by the inner child may lead us back like a trail of breadcrumbs to a particular past experience. Maybe it was a time our mom and dad was coming down on us really hard, making our inner child feel unsafe. Maybe it was a time our mom and dad totally abandoned us and was not there, and did not provide this safety, did not provide this security. If we're remembering that via these little triggers, these little stabs that are so sharp this week, and these triggers are to be expected with Mars Chiron just yesterday. This is going to be going on all of this week. Every little trigger is an actual opportunity for healing. We heal our childhood trauma through subtle retraumatization, so that way we can access the original trauma. And oftentimes the original trauma was so great, we block off those emotions or we block off those memories until a subtle trauma causes us to remember that original trauma. That is very much taking place this week, so we can do this necessary reparenting work and return to ourselves. So listening to that inner emotional feedback, that's the truth of our inner child, which is the same as our internal GPS, our inner sage, our inner guru at this time. And if that trail of breadcrumbs, those emotions are leading us back to a particular past experience where we've been abandoned, we've been betrayed, we've had oppression or abuse, the way I've survived my first Saturn cycle, my parents, up through my first partner who is still stalking me and still attempting to sabotage my life, it's very much affecting me and my stability and my ability to continue to do this work. That is, by the way, breaking federal law, what's taken place in my life for the last 24 hours. So that needs to stop. We ought to be creeped out. And just know those who are authentically creeped out and disturbed, those are your family. Those are the safe people. We're on the right side of history at this particular time. It's almost as if there were people who were SS officers in their past lives that really got good at disassociated from the horrors that they're seeing, and there were souls that were in the death camp who didn't really have a choice but to see this is fucking hellish. Kind of different roads to take here, yeah? It's almost as if we've taken different roads in the past. Time to get real. Time to stop pretending, because I'm tired of those SS officers leading feminist groups into being restoring the divine feminine. I don't think so. What's on the surface and what's beneath the surface, gender, surface, how it appears, no. Not what it is in essence. We want to create this safety to feel whatever we're feeling in the moment that we feel it. And if there were any past experiences that were tragic, that were traumatic, that were oppressive, we want to go in once again as our inner parent and protect our inner child. Do our magic, do our rituals. If there was a dark, oppressive, leech-like succubus force, push them out of the room and put a bubble around your inner child and tell the true story to yourself. Listen, they only learned to manipulate as their way of survival because they're just acting out of base insecurity. They don't know what love is. They don't know what compassion is. You do. So create it for yourself. Create a protective shield around your inner child. Create a bubble that's warm, that's nourishing, that's womb-like. That in and of itself is some of the greatest work that we could possibly do at this particular moment in time. And ladies and gentlemen, this is what I'm providing here for free in these videos. Most of my viewers are not yet subscribed, so please click subscribe. I am disseminating medicine for free. And if you'd like to support me in my work, you can donate. Thank you so much for your donations. With your donations, you are absolutely supporting me to continue to disseminate this wisdom for free. So it's not just me, it's many others who are thanking you for your donation as well. We will be meeting later on this month. I'll put the date and link to catch our next Q&A. There you can meet me in person. We can take a look at your birth chart, talk about what the heck's going on, why you're having the experiences that you have, and I will provide some recommendations. Just as the message delivery mailman, I don't claim to be God. I don't claim to have all the answers. I've just taken the time to learn evolutionary astrology so to effectively change more lives than otherwise could be possible. That is why I also teach evolutionary astrology at my astrology school at rosalilacommunity.com. There you can learn to connect to the source direct. Then you don't just have to take my word from it. You can get it straight from God yourself. That is the gift of astrology. Even as we enter this totally bonkers, haunted house on LSD, terrifying age of Aquarius, where it's going to get more speedy, more fast-paced, change more and more rapidly than we could ever believe through this forthcoming year of 2025 alone. Therefore, at this particular time, I just recommend take extra good care of yourself. Allow for that final chapter of digesting the process now through the end of February while Mars stations directs, because that can really inform us of this fundamental adjustment. Where to go, who to connect with, that is fundamentally safe in bringing in this most missing and needed medicine on the planet at this time, which is emotional intelligence. Not having to fight to be seen or understood. It's also an incredibly exhausting time. Oh my God. Oh my God, it's so exhausting with this Mars retrograde in Cancer square Chiron. So please take care of yourself. Rest up, nourish up, connect with us in the community, because it's only going to be warm, understanding, flexible people in the community. And everybody else can find something else that more, floats with your vibe. All right, that's the call I'm putting out, to bring in people of a similar wavelength, and thank you. And for now, and as always, please do take especially good care of yourself. And this goes out to you as well as your beloveds. these coming weeks. Please, please take good care. Until next time.